Hi, I've been thinking about the aspect of advantage. Now, usually when we talk about advantage, it's easy to understand in the business perspective when we talk about competitive advantage. Now, competitive advantage in a business sense is when we're running two similar businesses and I feel there's something with my business that probably you don't have. Maybe it's the way I handle customers, customer experience, maybe it is UX, or it's something else, but I feel my business has something that I can leverage to beat your business, to do better than your business. Now, I'm not talking about business per se. I'm thinking about this in relation to personal life. There's an aspect called advantage, something unique about me, about you, that probably nobody else has. Now, personally, if you are an African child like me, going back to school, what happened for my sense would be if you would bring back your academic report back home. My dad, God rest his soul, was very competitive. And I remember in those days, if I bring back a report and I was the second, they would give positions back then. One of the things that he would tell me, so the first child, don't they have the same time? Don't they have the same 24 hours in the day? Don't they have 2 ears? And back then it made sense, and even now it does to an extent. But the more I think about it, the more I think about the fact that many of the students that actually performed well in class, they had an advantage. I'll give you an example. I used to use public means to go to school, and if you're around urban centers within Africa, you totally understand this. Sitting in a matatu or jumping on a motorcycle, it's never as convenient. But now when I look back, for many of my friends that would be positions higher than I am, these are friends that would be picked up, at school, and they would have the laxity of reading in cars, which I wouldn't have because I would be jumping into public means and it's noisy and all crowded. So back then, when I look at it, the people that were much better than me in class, they probably had competitive advantage than I did. But then the same scenario, when I think about it, while I think that I wasn't so lucky to, have private means to pick me from school, I think about the fact that there were other students that were not even lucky to afford education. You see what I mean? So ideally there is advantage, but the problem is often when we talk about advantage, we see other people's advantage. We never take time to appreciate what our advantage is. What is it that God has given you that is unique, that you can use before you look at what somebody else has? And 2 advantages, when I think about all of it, that I feel you and I can always leverage this. The first one is people. We all have people that we can work with to get to our goal. So we know we have goals. As the year was starting, you set your goals, but the reality is the earlier you work with people, the faster you will achieve your goals. It could be as simple as, which person can I identify to do my graphics editing? Which person can I identify to do my analytics? Who can I work with in this business? So the skill and the advantage and the ability to work with people is really something that will take you a notch further. The second advantage that we all have is time. All of us have a gift of time. And my question is, how are you going to utilize that time? So how can you free up the time? It could be that, as you're commuting, you have some time in transit. That is an advantage. Are you able to read a book? Are you able to listen to a podcast? That is an advantage. Hey, my friends, we all have an advantage that we can use not only to beat others, because what is competition, but we have an advantage that we can use to beat ourselves, to make ourselves better than we were yesterday, and to bring the impact that we've all been called to achieve. Go use your advantage.